homie from down I-45, Landry Locker, familiar with this area of sports radio 610. Landry, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. You said lowly, lowest. We are not lowly. There are a lot of lowly NFL teams. It is the lowest of the NFL teams.
Don't I know? In fact, coming into the season, I tried to prep folks. I was like, look, man, people talk about this team like it's going to be awful. They've got a lot of veterans and stuff around the margins. They might find a way to be deep. No, just terrible.
Yeah, they got the tie, and then it's been all downhill from there, which might be a good thing. Sometimes when you win, you lose. The old white man can't jump, Rosie Perez. The draft will be fun. I think there will be some people envious of us around draft time. Three picks in the top 32. So that'll be fun. But yeah, it's definitely been a take it on the chin type of season. And I mean, you see the line's already 17. So yeah, it's rough out here on these Houston streets.
Yeah, to the point where I hear around your esteemed station that you guys are finding a way to shuttle tickets around to folks that actually want them.
Yeah, it's actually been a really cool thing because the worst thing that you can have is kind of apathy, and there's some people who haven't been going to games. So we've just had listeners, they transfer the tickets that they don't want to use to me, and then I transfer them to people who normally wouldn't get to go to games. And we've gotten a couple hundred tickets out. The last game against Cleveland, people actually wanted to go. So it wasn't as often, but yeah, we've been kind of just trying to spread the love around.
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up because I kind of want to talk about this, and not everybody wants to hear about it. So let's go ahead and get out the way. I'm very intrigued by what was the feeling for the whole week leading up to the Texans-Browns game. The obvious narrative through line being Deshaun Watson returning to Houston while also coming off of what we know is this allegations of sexual misconduct. While he was with the Texans. What was the feeling during that week and through the game?
I mean, it was a lot of emotions. I mean, I think if you just threw a dart at like an emotion board, there was like a lot of emotions. There were some people that were mad. There were some people that were excited. There was like all kinds of emotions. For us, because it was such a long process, it was kind of just everything coming into, one, because, you cover the misconduct. You know that but even before the misconduct, he wanted nothing to do with the organization. So, I mean, you name an emotion, it was there. It was the most interest that we've had in a game. It actually felt good to go to a game that people cared about, just given the way stuff has gone. But there are a lot of people angry at the Texans because the conduct stuff aside, like he wanted out before any of that even happened, and rightfully so, because they functioned so poorly as an organization before. So there were some people that just were mad at the Texans. There were a lot of people were mad at Deshaun. You pick an emotion, it was there leading up to that. It was pretty interesting.
So I would love to talk about this team itself, but I feel like this team doesn't make a lot of sense without the larger framework of this organization. So I'm going to ask this question very simply, and I think you understand. What the hell, Landry? Like, what the hell is happening here, especially with, we saw Bill O'Brien usurp and manage to collect power, and then he ultimately leaves. Jack Easterby holds power. He leaves. What the hell is happening there?
I think Bill O'Brien just was given too much leeway, and the thing that I always said when they were making these moves was, you can't make win-now moves if you don't have a win-now coach. Like the San Francisco 49ers can, they can even make some bad trades where you trade a bunch of first-round picks as long as you have Kyle Shanahan. The Rams, I know it's not looking good this year, but they went all in and they were able to win, a Super Bowl with Sean McVay because he's a good coach. The Texans were making win-now moves, and they weren't even making as good of moves. And eventually they were going to have to take it on the chin, and they did that. And then Easterby got power, the organization, the trust issues magnified, and Deshaun Watson was always like the lipstick on the pig of the organization. I remember back in the day when Randy Galloway was on the air, he used to say, Tony Romo saves all butts, back when the offensive line was bad and everything like that. And I think Deshaun Watson – I think they thought they always had a safety net with Deshaun Watson, so they could just do whatever. And then as soon as he left, they have $75 million. It's crazy. They have $75 million dead cap this year because of all the bad moves they've made and all the contracts they've given out. So they're kind of handcuffed there. didn't have a first or second round pick a couple of years ago. They just kept trading that, and eventually it just kind of caught up to them. And believe it or not, they're going to have a lot of good assets after the year. They're just going to have to hire the right coach, and they're going to have to draft the right guys.
All right, so I'm hearing that Lovey is as good as gone. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and note that. With that being said, Lovey Smith did tell us that after a couple weeks of Kyle Allen starting, that it will be back to Davis Mills. What is there to expect from Davis Mills being the starting quarterback in a game?
One of the worst quarterbacks in the league was what he was before he went down, and people assume Kyle Allen couldn't be any worse, and he was worse. So with Davis at this point, I'm intrigued to see if he can play his way into being a quality backup in the NFL, how he responds here. But he was really, really, really bad before he got hurt, to the point where I actually think with even bad quarterback play, they could have probably won a few more games, but they just had god awful quarterback play. So
what made him bad, Landry? What about his game made him bad?
He can't throw the deep ball anymore, and that was what was really surprising, because last year he was throwing the deep ball at an elite level. The deep passes were smooth. For some reason, he can't throw the deep ball anymore. He turns the ball over. He was leading the league in picks when he got benched. He turns the ball over more than he has. He's gotten timid, and I think a lot of it has to do with the play calling. Pep Hamilton has been a disaster. And that's hard to believe, because it was a Bill O'Brien understudy, Tim Kelly, who he replaced. And it's a clear downgrade that I'll be honest, it's complete hindsight, because I don't think anyone that I talked to thought that was going to be the case, because Pep Hamilton has a good reputation as a quarterback coach. But he's been really bad as a play caller. They had no depth at running back. They had Rex Burkhead as their backup running back. Dameon Pierce, I love Dameon Pierce. I think he's had a good rookie season, but I don't think giving him the ball 20 times a game is a recipe for success. They don't have anyone to spell him. The tight end position's a disaster. Brandon Cooks has gotten way worse. He's kind of quit on the team. He wanted out, almost ended up over there. So it's just really been, other than that, I mean, and the interior of the offensive line's terrible. Kenyon Green's probably had the worst rookie season that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
He came in out of shape. He was kind of a guy that you thought was going to be a plug-and-play guy. He's been out of shape. He's struggled. And they had to play their backup center because their starting center was awful, and then he ended up leaving the team or whatever after the first week. So bad interior offensive line, bad tight ends, bad receivers, bad quarterback, no running back depth. Other than that, it's pretty fantastic.
Well, damn, Landry, what about this team is good that can maybe even pass for a threat against an opposing team? I don't know. I mean, Dameon Pierce is good. If they can get the run game going with Dameon Pierce, he's good. Davis Mills at times has actually had chemistry with tight ends. Although it hasn't been very consistent. Jordan Akins and O.J. Howard actually scored 2 touchdowns his first game there. I don't think Cooks is going to play. It seems like he's just kind of – Lovie Smith isn't even really talking about Brandon Cooks as much anymore. And Nico Collins is a little hobbled. Really, I mean, there's really no excuse for the Cowboys not to be in pretty firm control of this game. Dameon Pierce, as long as you stop 31, you're going to be in good shape.